Hey, welcome to Viking Preparedness. I'm Pastor Joe Fox. I almost made a mistake. I was starting down the road of a mistake with my kids when they were, spread out between like middle school and high school. And I've always been a prepper. If you read my book, Survivalist Family, Prepared Americans for a Strong America, you'll see that I was raised with a prepper mindset even before that word was invented. And so we raised our kids the same way, but I got a little bit more into it, right, than my folks did. And it got to a point where my kids were thinking, what is the use of trying to better myself after high school if the whole world's gonna end? I might as well just get ready for that. And I felt bad. It's like, almost messed that one up. And so I got them readjusted. Because here's the thing. You have to have the ability to split your mind, to split your efforts, to simultaneously work on two avenues if you want to be successful in life. And that is this. You have to have a plan for nothing really major changing for the next 50 years. And you have to have a plan for the end of the world as we know it. You have to have both. Because if not, you could get caught short, right? And you could be caught really short. And so for you young people out there, I'm going to sound like your dad now, or I guess your grandpa, right? You need to do well in school. School is important. Starting in about 8th grade, you need to start focusing on what the heck you're doing in school. The most important thing you do is go to school and learn, right? Learn and get decent grades. Because why? Because one, you don't want to grow up and be a stupid adult. That's why. But two, you are gonna have to learn something else after high school if you want to be successful in life. You are either going to have to go to college and get a degree that means something, not underwater basket weaving, but a degree that you can actually use to get a JOB, right? Or you're going to have to go to some kind of technical training or advanced training so that you can continue on in a career field that allows you to do well, that allows you to raise and have a family, right? And support them and start buying cool things like AR-15s and four-wheel drive trucks, right? Which cost money. But you're going to have a JOB to do that. And to get a good job, you're going to have some education, whether that's college education, that track, or whether that's like technical education. I tell you who makes good monies is auto mechanics. All right. Well, you don't have to go to college to be an auto mechanic, but you got to go to school. And you're not going to do well in that school if you can't do your basic reading, writing, and arithmetic, right? You have to be able to do that stuff. And you learn that middle school and high school. You have to have the ability to learn new things. Heck, even if you're going to inherit the family farm, right, which are going away, and there's fewer and fewer of them, man, you're probably going to have to go to college and learn business and, how to work on your tractor, the computer aspects of it. I mean, you're going to have to learn a lot of stuff. It's not just standing behind a horse all day pulling a plow anymore. Far from it, right? Farmers got to be smart to make it today. And to be smart, you got to get educated. And so for you young people, start thinking about education. And start thinking long term. I know to an 18-year-old, 20-year-old, 40 is ancient. Oh my God, that is so old. 40 is where in America a lot of people have started to arrive, if you will. They've finally progressed up whatever ladder they're going up economically to the point where they can actually have a nice house, start having nice things. Their family is starting to grow. They're starting to see that working out. And about 40 is when, a lot of people who had a plan and followed their plan start being able to partake more of the fruits of all the effort they put in before them. 40, right? That's ancient. Man, that's an old timer. Yeah. Do people do it earlier? Yes, they do. Yes, they do. But it's going to take time. Nothing happens overnight, and nothing happens without work. So start thinking about that. You're going to have to work for what you get. And you're going to have some kind of long-range plan. For young people, I tell them, you got to have a 5-year plan, which to them seems ancient. I mean, you're a senior in high school, and you're like, 5 years? That's a year after college. That's forever from now. Yeah. Where do you want to be 5 years from now? For you older adults, I'd say once you get into about your 30s, you really need a 10-year plan. 30-year-olds, where are you going to be in 10 years? Where do you want to be in 10 years? 10 years from now, where do you want to be? Okay, good, I want to be here. How do you get there? And start doing your milestones. I talked about that on my Patreon site, establishing milestones. You need to do that. Have a plan to get where you want to be. If you just want to lay there and go, you don't understand, woe is me, I can't get a job, I'm lost. Yeah, you probably are. Yep, but you don't have to be. You can reinvent yourself at 40. 40 years old is not too old to turn over a new leaf and decide you're going to get after it. Education of one degree or another is important. You gotta go for it. You have to make yourself better. And you have to have a plan for your job. If you're just doing menial labor, minimum wage stuff, and you're in your 20s or older, you're not on the right path. Change your path. And before you ask me, how do I do that? How do I do this? How do I do that? Let me flip that around. How do you do that? How are you going to do that? Start out with your 5 and 10 year plan. Make those plans. Then figure out how you're going to get there. You can do it. You can do it. Decide you want to be better. Decide where you want to go. Decide what you want to get out of life. And get it. Now I'm Pastor Joe Fox, so you know you got to hear this, right? Where are you at spiritually right now? Where are you at? You happy where you are? You comfortable? Or as Francis Chan did an excellent sermon, you can find it on YouTube, are you lukewarm? Where do you want to be? Where do you want to be? Spiritually speaking. Where do you want to be 5 years from now? How are you going to get there? What are you going to do about it? Priorities, important things in life. We are spiritual and flesh beings. You have to address both. Think about it. Come up with a plan. Change your stars. All right. I'm Pastor Joe Fox. You should be watching this on Viking Preparedness. If you are not, somebody's trying to rip me off. Report them and come on back. Find me on Viking Preparedness. We're on Patreon too. I put out a lot more stuff there. Come find me. I'll put a link in the bottom. All right. I'll see you out there. Woo, we're still going. All right, I'll see you out there again.